A series of rain bands is moving through eastern states, producing record-breaking heavy rain across already flooded rivers. The SES is preparing for major flooding to develop over inland New South Wales, with periods of flash flooding possible in Sydney this weekend. Let's go live to the New South Wales SES Chief Superintendent Dallas Burns. Dallas, what's your advice to people in those affected areas?
Yeah, good afternoon. Look, the advice for our community is to know your risk, have a plan, limit your travel over the next 72 hours and understand how our new warning system works. We're doing a lot of community engagement to explain what the various risks are in our communities. They do differ by location. We'd like people to be familiar with their local area, know what has to happen if they do need to move. And for those people who have travelled by the school holidays, please be aware of what the risks are in your location and what the risks are on your route home if you may be returning home over the weekend.
Can you elaborate in a bit more detail about the new warning system?
So yeah, the New South Wales SES transferred across to the Australian warning system last week. It's a much simpler system. It can be viewed at Hazard Watch. The Hazard Watch website. It has 3 levels. The first is advice, where we're providing information to communities. The next is watch and act, where we're asking communities to be prepared. And the last level is an emergency warning, which may trigger an evacuation if needed.
And in flood affected areas, you said know your risks. What are the key risks, if you can just talk our viewers through that?
The risk is mainly that river, the water hitting the ground at the moment as rainfall is hitting saturated soil. So we're seeing river rises above what would normally occur. If you're in an area that's near a creek, near a river, or if you're travelling across a creek and a river, please be aware that these rainfall could have very sharp and quick impacts on the river systems and creeks near where you are. And just to be careful, and if the road is flooded, forget it. Please don't cross those roads if there is water over them.
And that's the tragedy that we've seen in recent times, Dallas Burns, isn't it, where people have thought they might take the risk, but with tragic consequences.
Yeah, we have. And look, so it was tragic what happened last weekend. And what we see is people are familiar with their road systems and they may well have gone across a road that was flood affected before. However, with these prolonged events, we're seeing a lot of damage to both bitumen roads and secondary rural roads that you may just not be aware of. It may have been fine 2 days ago, but that continual use of a road in wet conditions can break up the bitumen. What was passable earlier with a 2-inch depth may well have a large culvert that's been washed away or a pothole that you can't see. It's just not worth the risk. Please find a way to get around, even if it does extend your travel time. It's better to get there late than to not get there.
Indeed it is, Dallas Burns. Do you think that we are better prepared or as well equipped as we can be, given what's looming is a very difficult summer? We saw terrible floods last summer, but with those saturated soils and land already, with more heavy rains to come, how well equipped are we in terms of emergency services and so on?
I think we're very well prepared for where this rainfall may come. We've got some really good intelligence in the western areas around how our rivers behave when they receive that rainfall. And the most urgent thing we can do, or the most important thing we can do, is communicate well with our communities and let them know their risks, let them know what's anticipated and coming through. I mean, we've got a very large weather pattern coming through at the moment, and we're anticipating impacts to nearly every major town in the Central West, from Forbes, Cobar, Gunnedah, we saw was cut off last week. It's opening at the moment. It's entirely likely that it may again be isolated following this rainfall. It's about being prepared and not taking up undue risks.
SES Chief Superintendent Dallas Burns, thanks, appreciate it.